Hi everybody, this is David Lockwood, and this is the first of a series of I Have Fifth Dimension Telepathy. So it's a story that spans 60 years, because that's how long it took me, or before I was gifted, with Fifth Dimension Telepathy. So this one I'm going to just call 8 years old, and that's basically when it all started. I lived in Mississauga, and on the street, I had a friend of mine. We became best friends. He was up the road about 10 houses from me, and we did everything together. And the houses that were built then, you have to understand, I'm 68, so when I was a kid, it was about I was born in 1953. So the houses were built anywhere from 1953 to 58. And the thing about these houses is that they use the, the cemented front porch in the basement as a cold cellar. And sometimes people would put a door on it to keep it really cold. Others would just put like a curtain on there. And so that takes us up to my friend's house. So at 8 years old, we've got energy galore, and we're running around and chasing one another and running around the furnace, and then, we're laughing our heads off, and he runs into his cold cellar, and I follow. And his mother had put a curtain of beads as like a simulated door. And, they were all different colors of beads, and there was maybe 20 strings on it. And so he ran in first. I followed him in, and we both stopped dead because in front of us there was an image of a man in black and white stripes. And we looked at him, and he pointed to my friend, and then he vanished. So we go running upstairs, and he's crying, and we're all saying, "There's a man in the basement." And that, so the mother, she goes down, his mother goes downstairs and checks all over and comes back and said, "Boys, you're just playing too hard. There's no man downstairs." So it's not till later on I learnt a lot of things about that. So first off is that I learned that uh, most times you need to be gifted if you're going to see the same thing that somebody else sees. It has to meant to happen. So the fact that I saw it, I was having some extraordinary experience right there, and that's where sort of like my gift started to develop at 8 years old. So as we grew older and we went to school together and everything, he came down with cancer, and it was leukemia. And he went to St. Mike's, which is in Toronto, and they did all the chemo and all the rest of that. But he succumbed to his leukemia, and he passed away at 18 years old. So that was 10 years that went by from the first time we saw the man that pointed at him to his passing. So I was having different experiences from that age of 8. And example, I would go to bed at night. My dad had built 2 bedrooms downstairs in the basement. My brother was in one of them. I was in the other. And I couldn't go to sleep if my door was open. So I always had my door shut. And it was just, for some reason, a fear that I had. And I'm going to tell you a story about that in another video down the road. Anyway, so I used to go to bed, and I'd be pulling the covers up to my chin, and door was shut, and lights were off, and I would feel as if somebody had sat on the edge of the bed. And you know how if person, an adult, sits on the edge of the bed, the blankets go tight over your legs and part of your body and that scared the bejesus out of me. And I wouldn't open my eyes. I didn't open my eyes to see, if there was somebody there. I felt somebody there, but I wouldn't open my eyes. And then eventually I would fall asleep. But that happened quite often. So one night I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm hearing something really faint, and it sounded like upstairs there was footprints, but everybody, or steps, you can hear on the upstairs floor. But everybody had gone to bed, and it was in the middle of the night, and I could hear clump, 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 but it was on like a cement floor, and I realized that that was coming from the downstairs rec room that my dad had built, and you had to walk from the rec room past his office, make a left, make a right, no, sorry, make a right, make a left, and it would lead to the 2 bedrooms. And I'm lying there, and I can hear this footsteps getting louder and louder and louder, and it's clump, 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 and it's getting closer and closer, and of course I'm freaking out. And it gets to my door, and it starts pushing on my door. And it was pushing so hard at one point that the wood, it was one of these old style wood doors, and it started creaking first, and then it started sounding like the wood was breaking apart. And I was like under the covers going, don't come in, don't come in, and it was pushing and pushing, and it was getting louder, and then finally it stopped. And I could hear the footsteps start to head back from where it came. And I went, boy, that was a close call. I think I was about, I think that kept on happening from about 8 years old to about 12 years old. And, but that's what started to happen. So that in itself sets up another video that I'll be talking about. So 8 years old is when all this started to happen, and I'm 68, so there's 60 years of events that happened that you could write 3 books of stuff about. And I was told, and you'll understand when I say I was told, I've been a channel and leading to my 5th dimension telepathy, and I always wanted to share so much of the things that I was experiencing. And I had gotten tuned with my guides, which is the next video, and every time that I would say, can I share this, I would receive a no. And I got frustrated like crazy, but I always want to follow, and so I had to surrender to that. And up until about a month ago, when they finally said, David, it's time for you to share. So anyways, the next video I'm doing is that I'm going to introduce you to my guides and how all that happened. So I really hope that you enjoyed this one, and I hope you enjoy the series. So thank you very much.